Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you, and this is going to be the second installment of Knife Guys Never. I will put this out there. If you're a fellow YouTuber, I would love to hear your take on this video or some other similar sort of related idea. So let us know in the comments down below if you're going to do that. Also, I've got to say this, instead of asking, so on the last video I asked, hey, what are some things that Knife Guys never do? Well, what I'd like to do is turn that on its head and ask you guys, what are some things that you always see non-Knife Guys doing that make you, give one of those face palms where you're like, come on. All right, now let me add this by way of qualification. I'm glad if anyone carries a knife. I don't care if it's a purple bladed surgical steel M-Tech knife that's half serrated. Okay, that's like the worst imaginable thing I could think of. And if that's what you carry, I'm sorry about that. But, the idea is, hey, at least they're carrying a knife. But there are some things, and I would say even some companies that primarily cater to non-knife people. And I will have a discussion about that at the end. If you want to carry on this conversation further, you could join Sharp Stuff Facebook page, which is a page associated with this channel where, I post video ideas. I maybe ask you guys for feedback, different things like that. So I'll put a link to that in the description box below, along with a link, as I said, to the earlier video and a link to my Amazon store page. So let's go ahead and get into our list with number one being use scissors. Knife Guys never use scissors or any other cutting tool when they know perfectly well that the folder in their pocket will work. Number two, Knife Guys never stop searching for the perfect knife. Now, I don't mean the perfect knife for me. Maybe this is your perfect knife, or this. I know a lot of people feel like this is the perfect knife. But most of us, we keep, whenever we see a knife that checks most of the boxes we're interested in, we just feel like we've got to at least check it out because it might be that one, lightning strike moment where someone has created the most perfect folder that's ever existed. And maybe that's already happened and it's been discontinued and now we'll never know, but I suspect the search will continue for me and many others. So we never stop searching for that perfect knife. Number three, we never fail to have a good reason for our next knife purchase. Maybe it is that we're just hoping this will be the exact perfect one. Maybe we've never tried that steel before or that maker before, or maybe it's a new design collaboration, or maybe it's such a good sale that we can't pass it up, or maybe we sold one of those knives 5 years ago and we still want one, and so now we're finally able to put one back in the collection. Whatever the reason for your next knife purchase, I know it is absolutely justifiable beyond any reasonable doubt, and I don't begrudge you for a second making that purchase. All right, number four, we never stop trying to get others into the hobby. We are happy to talk with friends, neighbors, family members, people we run into in the store checkout line, people we find at the hardware store or the mechanic shop, wherever we are. We're quite happy to talk with the people around us about the hobby that we enjoy and hopefully encourage them to start enjoying it as well. I know lots of Knife Guys give knives away specifically for this reason. I know lots of Knife Guys are happy to share their knife or their knowledge with other people. Direct them to websites, whether it be Canadian Knife and Gear's Facebook page, the Sharp Stuff Facebook page, like we were talking about, Blade forums, or many other places. We just love to try to help others around us to be informed about awesome knife features and models. And this kind of goes hand in hand with something, and I can't tell you how many times I've had this feeling, and let me know if you've done the same thing. Nothing makes me crazier than standing in line at a store, whether it be Bass Pro or Walmart or Canadian Tire or whatever, and I notice the person in front of me has decided to buy a pocket knife, and I'm like, hey, cool, you're buying that knife, but please don't buy that one. It's almost one of those moments where you're going to run up and slap it out of their hands and replace it with something good, okay? I've had those moments many times where I'm just cringing watching this person, you know, carry a total piece of junk out of a store and tell their friends how awesome it's going to be. And oh man, I hate that moment. But if I'm able to, I always try to intervene in a polite way. Sometimes it doesn't work, but whatever. Number 5, knife guys never buy a knife because a YouTuber said so. Look, guys, I've got my own tastes, and so does every other YouTuber, and there are going to be things that we like that you just don't like. And so what I'd prefer you do is listen to what I say about the knife, listen to the reasons I like it and the things I like about it, listen to the things I don't like about it, and try to make a decision for yourself, whether it's going to be the right size for you and the right edge geometry for you and the right blade steel for you and all of that stuff. Okay, so good, true knife guys never buy a knife just because a YouTuber said so, whether it's me or anyone else. Number 6, knife guys never hand someone an open knife if it's a folding knife, or if this was a fixed blade, I would never hand it to you this way. I would always hand it to you this way. That's an absolute must, and if you're a true knife guy, you will never hand someone a knife blade first. If it's a folding knife, of course, you'll never hand them a knife open. It'll always be closed. Knife guys just never do that. Number 7, knife guys never admit that they've overpaid. Or a closely related idea, knife guys never admit that the price they're wanting that they've listed on Blade Forums or Facebook or wherever else is too high. They just never admit it. If they have to take a post down and wait for a later date and then lower the price, they're willing to do it, but they kind of do it sheepishly. All right, so knife guys never admit that they've overpaid or that the knife isn't worth what they want for it. You may recall I made a whole video about this when the guy on Blade Forums just ranted about the fact that he had bought a bunch of Kaisers, and when he went to resell them, he couldn't get the value for them that he put in. And, you know, all of the people on Blade Forums were kindly wanting to help him out to explain how Kaisers don't hold their value very well, which is a fair point, okay? And anyway, the knife, the thread developed into something totally new because he said Kaiser's slogan should be, you know, buy it for life because you'll never be able to sell it. And then everyone came up with slogans for every knife company. It was just fantastic. So anyway, knife guys never admit that they overpaid. Knife guys never use and carry a partially serrated blade. Never use and carry a partially serrated blade. If you want a serrated blade, get a serrated blade. There are lots of them that are out there that are fantastic. You know, a full spider edge is great. Cold steels, crazy, super fine serrations are also pretty good. Some companies I'm not in love with their serrations, so but Cold Steel and Spyderco I'm pretty impressed by. Anyway, if you need a fully serrated blade for whatever you're doing with your knife, that's awesome. But having a partially serrated blade ends up meaning you don't have enough serrations to do the serration work, and you don't have enough plain edge to do the plain edge work, and it's just annoying. So knife guys never carry a partially serrated blade. Knife guys never forget to check the mail every day. Who knows what's coming? Maybe it's that thing you ordered and forgot about. By the way, I've had some guys say knife guys never let their wives or kids check the mail. My kids are pretty savvy. They see the mailbox flag open and they get excited. So they're definitely going to check. But knife guys never forget to check the mail. Knife guys never sit down to relax and watch TV without picking up a knife that they're going to fondle with incessantly. Much to the chagrin of their family members who have to sit there and listen to that clicking sound over and over again. In fact, even when I used to play on a team, a Battlefield team, and it was pretty fun, but during the downtimes when games were loading and stuff like that, I would always be flicking a knife, and a number of times the other guys in the group chat would be like, what is that noise? I hear this constant clicking. Is something wrong with somebody's mic? And I'd be like, well, I don't know what it is. Of course, and it was me flicking a knife over and over again. So knife guys never forget to have a knife with them when they sit down to relax that they can fondle with. Knife guys never put a knife away wet or leave it unlubricated. If we use our knife and get water in the pivot or something crazy, we're going to take that thing apart, clean it up, and get it back to, you know, the perfect running condition. By the way, this is a good gun guy characteristic too. Gun guys, you know, even if you only put 4 rounds through that gun, you just got to take it apart and clean it till it's spotless again. Knife guys never let a sale post go by without asking, are you open to trades? And knife guys never pay by Visa, or at least rarely, even though PayPal hates us, and they do. You guys know, PayPal has specifically told a bunch of knife retailers that they won't support them because they don't want to support knife purchases, which is really, really frustrating. Anyway, let's get into the second part of this that I promised you at the beginning, which is some things should be left to the non-knife guys, okay? Some things that we see in the knife world are specifically geared toward non-knife guys, and I say let them have it. First of all the SOGs. If you're not a knife guy, go out and buy all the SOGs you can handle. They're specifically made for you to pay too much for a piece of junk. Go nuts. All right, painted blades, especially purple or red or all kinds of crazy colors, painted blades are for non-knife guys. Knives that have a cutout in the handle for a seatbelt cutter, that is a non-knife guy feature 100%. Surgical steel, 80% of buck knives, Havalon knives, these are all for non-knife people. And I mean that, I'm glad that there's a place in the world for all that stuff. It's great, but it's sure not for me because I'm truly into knives. I'm a real knife guy, and I know all of you guys are as well. I'd love to hear what else you'd like to add to that list down below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.